Number 1, third place, Jacky Ickx, Derek Bell, Porsche. Number 2, that is Vern Schuppan, now driving the Porsche, in 5th place behind the Ford of Manfred Winkelhock and ahead of the 6th place man, the second Ford C100 of Klaus Ludwig and Mark Surer. In 10th place, the Ralph Cook driven Lola T610, having a little bit of a sideways moment coming out of the S's through Tete Rouge's gone and onto the long Mulsanne straight. A good showing in the early stages by the Kramer car driven by Ted Fields and Daniel Geis. The Lancia team that proved so quick in practice, in fact had a lot of problems at the start of the race. One car stopped in the Mulsanne on the first lap, the second car stopped at the pits on the second lap, and after 2 hours they're down in 43rd and 49th place. But it's still a long way to go. The two Porsches there together. Number 17 coming through the Ford chicane. Ralph Cook driving. The little Lancia Turbo, Riccardo Patrese at the wheel, car number 50. Number 2 going through. The Porsches probably going to be the most reliable cars, I would think, on the circuit, but a great battle really between the Porsches, the Rondeaus and the Fords in the early stages of this year's Le Mans 24-hour race. And the Aston Martin there driven by Mike Salmon, and Mike Salmon there throwing the car through the Ford chicane. And number 80, the American-driven, Billy Hagan-driven Chevrolet Camaro, driving more like a NASCAR stock car here than a Le Mans 24-hour race. A lot of trouble for number 12, that's the Rondeau of Jean Ragnotti. He's down in 42nd place. They've had a long time in the pits in the early stages of the race. The Rondeau team not doing too well, with the exception of Francois Migo and Gordon Spice, who at the moment lead the race. The Aston Martin going through, and look at this, the Peugeot, that is Michel Pignard, who was in fact in second place in the early stages of the race, smoking very badly, doesn't bode well for that Peugeot. Reliable as ever, the Cooke Racing car, now being driven by Francois Servinan. Tiffany Dell now taking the driving stint of the Aston Martin that's moved up into 9th place. And certainly a real thorn in the side for the Porsche team is car number 11, the Francois Migo and Gordon Spice driven Rondeau, which led all the way up to the 3-hour mark. Migo now at the wheel. Jean-Pierre Jassot, who won this race in 1980, also have problems with his car number 24. That moved them all the way down to 10th place in the early stages. Keith Green, the English team manager who has to manage 5 Rondeaus for this Le Mans 24-hour race, really having his work cut out. And there, the man that many people have come to see if he can win for an all-time record, a 6th time, Jacky Ickx, the Belgian driver, who's almost made Le Mans his own race. Into the pits comes the car number 1, Derek Bell at the wheel. He'll change over to Jacky Ickx. They at this time are in 3rd place. Out goes Derek Bell. In goes Jacky Ickx. The fuel regulations stipulate that it must take at least 2 minutes for all the fuel to go in, so these pit stops perhaps not as hurried as they might have been in the earlier days when they used to have the Relumit system, which used to be a gravity feed type system, much quicker to inject the fuel into the cars. This is done, of course, for safety measures. Derek Bell there doesn't look too hot and bothered. Still early days at this year's Le Mans 24-hour race, a long way to go still.